So TikTok is going to, they're asking for an emergency from the courts.
TikTok has basically asked the Supreme Court, hey, pause this. Please make it not happen on January 19th. And then, by the way, what they're really asking there is, please take this case up. When are we going to hear if the Supreme Court?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I love TikTok, honestly. I get way more interaction on there than, like, Instagram. People are scared on Instagram to be themselves.
Court is taking it up. Do we know?
Probably soon. And the argument is even more nuanced than that. So TikTok is saying, well, look, this is the D.C. court's order. Can you just stay it? Can you hit pause on it until after the inauguration? But the response is going to be, and it's a strong argument, that you're not asking the D.C. court to delay its own order. You're asking the court to delay an act of Congress where they...
Yes, let Trump get in there so we can get a logical decision. Obviously, guys, Joe Biden is doing everything in his power to fuck up everything. It's going to get banned the day before Trump comes into office. Guys, come on.
They said, this shall go into effect on this particular day. That is a big ask.
Have Elon or fucking Mark Zuckerberg buy it.
Much different ask than just asking a lower court to pause its decision. This is an act of Congress. It said it should go on into effect on this day. That might be a tough one, even for the Supreme Court, to delay the law going into effect.
You mentioned the inauguration and TikTok, and in my conversations with them, reporting on this a lot, they are certainly kind of crossing their fingers and hoping that they can get to that date, partially because we know how President Biden feels about it. He's the one who signed this into law. President-elect Trump, on the other hand, a little bit more of a wild card, but we've gotten some clues.
He's not really a wild card. I think that these Democrats are wild cards.
TikTok CEO
because they flip-flop.
Mar-a-Lago yesterday for a meeting. He used that language I used, warm spot, in the last week of the campaign. He vowed he would save TikTok. But what does that actually look like? Because I've been talking with a lot of legal experts, you are one of them, where it's like, so what would he do? Direct his attorney general to not enforce it? Because your point, this was an act of Congress. What could happen? How does the inauguration potentially help TikTok?
You got it exactly. As president, he has a lot of power with...
Oh, dude, it would be a blessing if TikTok stayed around. I think that if TikTok goes, that's like so much other restrictions are going to happen.
This particular statute to decide how it's interpreted and how to enforce it. In fact, he could direct his executive branch to simply create regulations that say, okay, here's what the statute says. Here's how we're going to interpret it. Or he could just decline to enforce it. Or his DOJ, his attorney general, who will likely be aligned with what Trump wants, will decline to enforce this. And in fact, even if it's still pending before the Supreme Court, they can totally and substantially change the government's own position before the court itself. So a lot of things, the president can't strike down a law enacted by Congress, but he has a lot of power, especially with this one, in determining how and to what extent he chooses to enforce it.
All right, Danny Savalos, we'll keep talking about it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Come on, guys. Don't ban TikTok. So many people need it. So many people are making money and are living off of TikTok right now. It'll actually fuck up the economy. So let's see. Look, whoa! ABC News is paying Trump $15 million, and this is being broadcasted on NBC.
You don't find it offensive that Donald Trump has been found liable for rape?
Tonight, the fallout from a bombshell settlement in President-elect Trump's defamation suit against ABC News.
Endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and two separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape.
Shut up.
The lawsuit stemming from this March interview by anchor George Stephanopoulos, where he grilled South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, a survivor of rape, on how she could support Trump.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my political choices.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not a criminal court. This was a civil court. It was a civil court.
Stephanopoulos falsely saying
not a
Trump
criminal
was
court,
liable
guys.
for rape more than
He's not a criminal. This is dude.
10 times over the course of the interview.
It has been shown to be rape. The judge affirmed that it was in fact rape.
I actually like these conservative women. This is like a brand new breed of like feminism from a whole different angle.
Donald Trump was found to have committed rape.
They're stronger than most of the liberal guys. It's quite hilarious.
That's just a fact.
In fact, the jury in the E. Jean Carroll case found Trump liable for sexual abuse and explicitly not for rape. Mr. Trump sued, claiming that Stephanopoulos and the network knew or should have known the statement was false. His lawyers citing this interview.
Stuffaluffagus. You know, these fucking guys are... They invented clickbait. You know, they invented...
Stephanopoulos did with Carroll months earlier.
The first
cringe
announcement was made, and it was that he was not found liable for rape. What were we thinking at that moment?
Robbie and I were sitting together and we were holding hands. Her hand was ice cold.
Complicating the dispute, the judge in the Carroll case clarified in a written opinion that New York's definition of the term rape is narrow, and that the jury's finding, quote, does not mean that she failed to prove Mr. Trump raped her, as many people commonly understand the word rape. The jury found that Mr. Trump, in fact, did exactly that.
It was against my will.
This chick looks like she drank a lot, popped pills, and just partied her ass off in the 80s.
And it hurt, and it was a fight.
Carroll alleged Trump assaulted her in a Manhattan department store in the mid-90s.
What? I don't believe it.
Trump is appealing to
the mid-90s
jury verdicts, ordering him to pay Carroll nearly $90 million. In the settlement, ABC agreeing to donate $15 million to Trump's presidential library.
Oh, my God. No way.
$1 million to his legal team, and add a statement to their article on the interview reading, ABC News and George...
He got him for that one interview, though.
Stephanopoulos regret statements regarding President Donald J. Trump made during
That's all it takes for like a defamation is one quote.
Interview. In a statement, the network saying, "We are pleased that the parties have reached an agreement to dismiss the lawsuit on the terms in the court filing." The deal widely seen as a win for President-elect Trump, who has made attacking the news media part of his political brand for years.
We have to...
Well, it's the media. It's who puts on the bigger show. And the funny thing is he's doing too big to rig, and he's overpowering the media because he's putting on a bigger show. He is the new media.
Straighten out the press. Our press is very corrupt, almost as corrupt as our elections.
Some journalists criticizing ABC's decision to settle. Paul Farhi, former media reporter with the Washington Post, calling the agreement an awful precedent and a huge sellout.
Ken Delanian joins us now. Ken, a lot going on, a lot of people talking about this one. I understand President-elect Trump is now promising even more defamation suits against news organizations.
That's right, Tom. Today,
oh, he's going in. This will make everyone... The problem, actually, the solution is to shock all these, every fucking area that is corrupt and scare them. It's going to be pretty brutal for the next 2 years, but then it'll start to look up for the 2 years after that. That's my honest prediction.
He announced his intention to sue the Des Moines Register over a poll published in that newspaper just before the election showing that Kamala Harris was up 4 points. It was by a really well-known pollster, Ann Seltzer, who subsequently retired and acknowledged that that poll was wrong. It was an outlier. And this is one of many. If he sues, it would be one of many defamation suits he has going against the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Pulitzer Board, Bob
I hope he
Woodward.
does it. I hope he does it. That's been like my biggest enemy is the media and how people can just carry these narratives and change everything, fuck people's reputations up, lie to people, brainwash people. Really, the war lies in the media. Straight up.
Mr. Trump portrays himself as a crusader against the news media. Tom.
All right, Ken Delanian for us. Ken, we appreciate that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
He's like, this might be my last year working here. Stay tuned for what happens next. I'll probably get canned because they'll expose me on some weird-ass stuff I'm involved in. Stay tuned.